Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us tonight. This is MeWe Fairs for energizing body, mind, heart, and soul. We have events throughout the Northwest, many online, and tonight is our online awakening panel. The theme tonight is Self-Love is Soul Love. There are 6 of us on the panel tonight. We'll be sharing about who we are, what we do, and about the theme, talking about self-love and soul love, and we'll be answering questions from the audience. It's free to be here to listen and learn, and it's a small price to ask a question of the panel. I'll be getting the information in the chat again in a moment. We're going to have the practitioners introduce themselves so you get to know who they are and how this all works. And we will also set the container before we start answering questions. I'm excited to be here with you. All right, so we're going to have Crystal go first. So tell us about who you are and what you do, and I'll be putting your information in the chat for everyone also.
Hi, I'm Crystal. I'm the multiverse frequency for body and soul. I am also a medium. I speak to past loved ones and pets. And so I'm a pet intuitive as well. I speak to live and past pets, and I also do energy work on pets as well as humans. So tonight I'll be looking forward to talking and touching on the topic of how your inner child affects you now, because when I do Reiki and energy work, I see a lot of hurt inner children, which essentially sets your boundaries for you allowing love in and you projecting love out or projecting other things out. I would also like to, talk about your higher self and how that's your future self, and how your inner child is your past self. Your past self has learned, how to basically navigate in the world today. And I feel essentially we're all just hurt, unhealed children walking around, trying to self-regulate and self-navigate and self-heal and be better people. So if any of those topics sounded like you, or you want to help somebody, or you have a friend in mind, or you just want to learn more, please stop on by. We have lots of great practitioners here, and I hope to see a lot of good questions, especially with the upcoming holiday. I mean, some enjoy it, some don't, but self-love is the most important, and that's a really good goal to start with if you're not loving somebody else, or if you want to love somebody else. You have to allow yourself to be loved by yourself first, so you could give other people that example and give them something to work with. Nobody's going to know how to love you if you don't love you. You have to give them examples and pictures of how does so and so operate. Well, I'm going to show you, because I'm going to allow me to be seen, because I love myself. So please come on by. Let's do some healing, let's do some talking, let's do some engagement, and get ready for this tough holiday coming up.
Thanks so much, Crystal. And now let's hear from Dr. Anna.
Hello, I'm Dr. Anna, and I'm a hypnotherapist. And what I mostly do, I teach people and I guide them to move in the emotional energy. And we often try to struggle against emotions which we think are like wrong. But what I teach people is to change them, transmute them. And what often we see with love is that this is a pure energy. This is a spirit energy, but it often gets mixed with other energies like jealousy, anger, greed, fear, attachments, possession. So this causes people to to experience some pain. But when we clear it, when we understand that this is love, this is how it feels, and we learn to separate everything which is not love, which is just different energy, we also learn to look on the outside. We expect people to give us love, and often we become so attached to it. This is the only person who can give me this. But imagine if we learn to nurture love on the inside, grow it on the inside, and have it flowing so abundantly, and have this energy so pure, that then we can share it. We can just give it to others, and then we can receive it. And then there is no fear. We are free to love. Okay, I'm done.
Great. Thank you so much. Gina's next.
That was beautiful. I love hearing from everyone. Good evening, everyone. I am Gina Nelson, and I'm a body-mind spiritual counselor and an energy healing therapist. And my specialty is in secret keeping. And so I'm a secret keeper coach. Many of us have experienced trauma in our lives. Very few of us escape childhood without having some of our needs unmet and causing a cycle of trauma. And so from an early age, I understood that there weren't a lot of pathways for people to understand or get help with their secrets if they didn't want to share them. And so that's part of the work that I do because of the amount of shame and defense systems and patterns that get activated through the holding of parts of ourselves not being good enough or worthy enough or being able to be seen enough. And so this relates to our topic in that self-love is soul love, is that if we can ask ourselves the question, what part of ourselves what percentage of ourselves is unlovable, right? And if we think about that, what percentage of me, what part of me is unlovable, right? The answer is no part of us is unlovable. And yet we compartmentalize so much of our histories, and that we try to move towards the parts that feel good and the parts that feel like they're working and move away from the parts that aren't. And so the truth is that everything is sacred, that our wounds are sacred, our histories are sacred. And so that self-acceptance, that self-compassion is part of what I like to talk about and help people with that. And so I call that turning up the volume on our heart's voice. And so really, you know, in this month of heart and in this month of love, it's how do we know what those other parts of ourselves that are telling us the untruth, that we are not lovable or not whole or not worthy. And how do we recognize those and turn the voices on those down and turn the voice on higher, the volume of our heart's voice? What does that sound like? And so I look forward to this discussion and being with you all tonight.
Thanks so much, Gina. And DoveLight.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My honor and blessings to be here. My name is DoveLight from DoveLightOracle.com, and I do readings from Oracle and the Tarot from a soul realm. Sometimes it's just supposed to be divine insight, like we all have a connection to the divine. But every reading that I do, it's different. Some of them comes with ancestral healing, and other comes with spirits coming from the other side. Some it's more like into the human realm. past life, inner child. So it's more like from a soul level readings that I do. I also can read the elements. I can read fire, water, earth, and wind. Pretty much we can read everything when we connect to the soul. This doesn't make us a know-it-all. And intuitive people are also humans. They have to learn their own lessons. They have to grow. So, but it helps you to navigate life. And the more that you trust yourself, the more that you start being confident that you have a connection to the divine, whatever name you give it. And that source of unconditional divine love goes beyond anything imaginable that you could ever feel in this lifetime or in any lifetime if you allow yourself to feel it. I do also have sessions. I do past life regression, ancestral healing, very shamanic techniques like cleaning the cords, light of the soul retrieval, which is one of my favorites. I do that because sometimes in the readings things come up that needs to be moved. Some energies are stuck or needs to be realigned or changed. Everything that I work on others, I actually work on myself first, because that's how I was start working in this field. Like I never would imagine I'll be with the public. But this is how life shifts us. Self-love, self-soul to self-love. My intention, or the first thing that comes to me, is will ask you what love means for you, because love is such a big word, deep word. And also, what are you feeling when you hear the word love? Because at the end of the day, words are words, but what the meaning that you give, the spirit that you put into the words, is what defines the how it's going to affect you. A lot of people hear the word love and think, oh, it's something commercial. Oh, it's not real. Oh, I'm gonna get hurt. Oh, I'm gonna get cheated. And for other people, love is it's beautiful, it's amazing, it's joy, I'm just love, wee, la 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 la, and or you just have no unconditional love. So it's different for everybody. I genuinely believe from the bottom of my spirit that we all humans came to this planet to master love to one way or another. There is no little box that will tell you what love is and how can it be expressed. There is many different scenarios where we can show up love. It's not only the romantic side, even though that's a great way for us to develop as a soul and to grow stronger, but it's also the way that you take care of yourself, the way that you care about your own health, the way that you speak to yourself, and yeah, and also the way that you talk to animals, and the way that you choose in every day your choices for your life. So I truly believe that even though humans have the ability to hurt and be hurt by one another, and sometimes, I'm not saying please hurt people, but that's sometimes the way that we grow and learn, there is a divine connection where every single one of us have to this great spirit. There is a love so beyond our wildest dream that can make miracles happening in this lifetime. Because miracles happens to you, and you never lose that connection. We forget about it, but we never lose it. And we tap in and connect with that energy. Everything start having more of an understanding or acceptance. Okay, dokie. That's a little bit of love. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks so much, DoveLight. Dr. Lincoln.
Well, things change day by day. I have been basically been a therapist recently, and I deal with people's issues as they come up, and they tend to be relationship, life, business, could be a lot of other things, but not too much in gender identity or family contest, a lot of relationships. And it's subtle. The role of self-love is never on the front burner. We do a lot of projecting. I'd say our whole world is projected. And it's okay, sometimes people feel they shouldn't be projecting so much. But I say, it's the canvas, you paint on it. And a lot of people are trying to figure out their future. Not so many people have clarity into their past. Well, that's the way it is. You don't often remember the past very clearly. And depending on the people I work with, the very aggressive, future-oriented ones want to figure things out and know the path and understand the options. But I also work with some people who say they're troubled. I say, trouble is an opportunity, but, if you want to focus on trouble. And I do try to turn everyone back to look at themselves. But like I say, it's subtle. You can't really love yourself until you're ready to, if ever. And, you work on it. And I tell people, as you'll probably appreciate, a lot of what we carry is ancestral. So that, the best laid plans of mice and men may not be what's in store for you, which is okay. We work with it. I am originally a physicist, so it's funny that I'm here. But I've found that people who, well, the material world is nice and it behaves well, and sometimes you can understand it. But people who aren't too hung up on the material world are often more flexible. So I appreciate the people who come to things like this for their out-of-the-box thinking. And often that's a great, if you're looking for the doorway out of your troubles, you can really be methodical and insist that it all work out and be organized. Or you can just say, I'll speak to my higher guides and I'll do whatever they tell me. So it's often a combination of the two that's a healthy mix of intentional effort and what's it called? Giving in, resignation, openness, surrender. That's the word I was looking for, surrender. So that's, I don't really have a story. I just deal with other people's stories, and every day's a new day. So that's all.
That's great. Thank you, Dr. Lincoln. Yeah, other people are appreciating cool on the physics. Yeah, so I came to this from an unusual pathway also. I was a molecular biologist before I was a coach and an intuitive and ran all these events. I'm Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader, body psychology coach, dating coach, and matchmaker. So I read your eyes just like we all read each other's eyes. If you think about when you meet someone with dark sunglasses, you can't see their eyes, there's so much missing. And as soon as you see their eyes, there's so much there. So I use archetypes to describe what I see in your eyes, and my aim is to help you come to understand you and love you. I believe that the whole journey is to come to love who we are. So everything winds down to this. I think, Lincoln, you started to talk about how it's often not on the surface. I don't remember how you said it, but it's so underlying so many things. Yeah. I guess, right, trauma are the things that we're not ready to integrate. Something happens that we're not ready to integrate. And I think that loving ourselves and being like holding on to ourselves is, yeah, I agree. Lincoln's phrases, paint on the canvas, all this great. I got to go back and listen to the recording, Lincoln, and get some of your phrases. You have the greatest quotes. I think holding on to ourselves, loving ourselves and holding on to ourselves is a way of being able to make it through lots of different things. We're not always ready for everything that happens, and it's so helpful. Of course, we started to talk about the topic. I went over and got Lila. I'm in my office that has Lila today. Often I'm in the office with Ursula. And so Lila being like little me and ways that I can love all of my parts. She's symbolic of that for me. So this is one of the tools I use with people with self-love. Just so many different exercises, so many different things starting to come to mind on self-love. Yeah, what is it like just to say, like, I love me and I love all of me. I love all of me. For me, it's an onion, right? I'm always peeling more layers. There's always more here to do. So really any question that you would ask us tonight, and you're able to ask us a question on anything, chances are, whatever the topic, there's a way of getting to self-love as being some part of whatever your question is. So as always on the panel, we can talk about anything, and it's always here. I think it's great to do a panel on self-love as we get to this time of year because people are so focused on love with others, and I think love with ourselves so important, underlying this so much. So great to be able to do this with all of you. I'll put my information in the chat also. We do have another panel coming up that's a bit more on looking at relationships that might exist or that you want, and how to make a decision on whether to stay or go, and how to find the people that you want to connect with if you're interested in love with others. And it's just so important that we love ourselves. It's really important that this panel comes first. Well, yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the theme. So practitioners on the panel, anything else you want to share about you too, and anything about the theme? And I know, Crystal, you've got some more. So yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to boost you because when I first met Laureli, she had this phone book filled with people she knew, and she actually pulled up 2 different people for me and in her matchmaking. And one person was a very dear friend of mine that I went to high school with. So there, right there in the compatibility, she saw just by looking in our eyes that we would click, and we did all through high school. So that was like amazing. And then also she pulled up 2 other people who looked exactly like my exes. Still a beautiful, beautiful thing, you know, but she is very skilled and very talented on her gifts. And please just take advantage and utilize her websites and all her information she has. She is very good at what she does.
Thank you so much. All right. Well, yeah, I'll have an opportunity to demonstrate tonight. Yeah, what we're able to share with you and with the world. Well, yeah. So, any other comments, panel? Anything else you want to say about self-love or soul love? Because are there differences? Like, is self-love soul love? How do we distinguish them? Go ahead, Dr. Anna.
So just because we are intuitive and we have techniques and we know how to help people doesn't mean that we are perfect. And I came to this to this field because I struggled with my own issue. So I could not speak. My speech was so blocked that even saying my name it would take forever. I stuttered so badly. So I was looking, and I expected there will be something, some magic pill, some magic technique, something that will just transform me. And I hated this part of me which could not speak. I was so violent with it. I would say, how come you're so intelligent and you cannot even speak? You should be able. And I only stuttered more and more. So only when I started looking at this part and holding it like this and asking, hey, what do you need? If you could have anything, any emotion, what is it that you need so you could express yourself freely? And it only needed me to love me, to understand that love is not given to us because we are perfect. Love is the energy which transforms us. So you do not need to be perfect. You do not need to have it all together. It's just opening this channel and understanding that I may be not perfect. I may not have it all together. But I can learn. I can start to just do this. Just do this and say to yourself, I love you. And don't think about all the different parts. Just listen to your body and smile into your body and understand that you may have many parts, but you have one heart.
You totally get me thinking too about coming out of various closets and the grieving and the self-love that's so involved in all the different parts. Like coming out of being queer, and then being intuitive or psychic, and then realizing I had autism, and all these different layers, and coming out to myself and coming out to other people, and how I have to love myself and be connected to myself in order to do these things, and to be in the world, kind of embracing, accepting all of who I am. Public speaking, self-love is such an important part of public speaking. Go ahead, Gina.
Yeah, I really love that, all of that. And Dr. Anna, that piece about trying to love ourselves, right? To know what's going on with ourselves. I take that to even just in the moment, right? And so sometimes there's this question or this idea of we need to love ourselves, right? And those words, they're so big, and what do they mean? And so I find that if I just break that down into wanting to have a beautiful relationship with myself as just a simple thing, right? To feel whatever at some moment when I felt a vibration that seemed bigger than me, or a love of another person, or the love when I look at something beautiful. If I want to cultivate that, sometimes I can just start with something small and meet a need that I have. And so the need could be, and I'll give you examples just in the last 15 minutes on this call. I found that when that voice came on, and we were talking about maybe there was someone else on the Zoom, my nervous system got triggered. And I was thinking, what do I need? I don't feel good here. I don't like that surprise sound. I don't like that I may not feel safe. And so I really, in that moment, took a second from what's going on in the panel, what's going on with the future. What do I need? And in that moment, I needed to kind of close down a little bit on the whole thing, breathe, relax my shoulders, and really do self-care. And when I do that, I'm meeting a need I have. And then if I'm meeting a need I have, I begin to have this relationship with myself. And that is a way to begin to cultivate self-love and cultivate self-compassion. And so sometimes we can take away that phrase, we need to love ourselves more. And it just gets so big. But doing simple things like that can really teach us, what does that feel like? And then if we go, oh, that felt good. Oh, I trust myself that I'm going to care for me. I'm going to show up for me. I'm worthy of feeling better in this moment. And there's nothing more than this moment. And that can really be the beginning of then experiencing that vibration of self-love, and then being able to keep practicing that in different ways.
And maybe I can say something about self-love is soul love. I'm the one that tossed up the title up there for this one. And as I think about it, they're different. So like my work is about helping people better understand their soul. And so I have a theoretical understanding of my soul and its journey. And then there's the practical. How am I doing with expressing this and allowing this through me right now? And so soul love can be, for some of us, it might be where we're loving the idolized state of who we are, right? The potential and the capacity that we can sense and feel for ourselves, or know, imagine for ourselves. And then self-love, I think of as loving me and all of my ego and all of the ways that I show up now. And so in that way, they're different. I mean, really, I have to love myself in order to love my soul. I have to love my journey and the destiny I imagine I'm heading towards, to love where I am on the journey and love how I am and how I show up. And the more I love me, maybe the more I open up as a channel for all of spirit, to open my capacity to be intuitive. To allow, to receive, just so many different things. Yeah, we have a pretty small group tonight, so we might have just a little bit more of a conversation. And I'm loving us right now by having our stalker get removed. So it's kind of interesting to have a stalker and have someone that wanders around and follows us. And yeah, Shen, but go ahead. So you can, go ahead. And I think it's a smaller panel, so we probably just have some more comments and things from the audience tonight. Go ahead.
It helps. It helps to, recognize your inner child.
It helps you to recognize your inner child? Yeah, it helps all of us to recognize our inner child. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like gotta love all our inner children. That's part of loving who we are, right? Loving the journey we've been on, the journey that we're on now. Yeah, all the parts of us that didn't feel loved at various points. Yeah. We've got a bunch of practitioners in the audience too, so Shen being one of them. Go ahead, Monica. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure we have enough attention on us out here, but yeah, go ahead and share, just have more of a conversation.
It's actually more of a question for Dr. Anna. I was really interested. She was talking about getting to this place of loving ourselves and feeling that, I guess we could call it like lighting our spark or igniting our inner fire or filling our cup. And then once we get to that place, that we're able to choose to love others from that point. And one of the things that I'm working on is like unconditional love that comes from both my own self-love, but also in combination to what spirit is, like surrendering to spirit and what spirit is telling me maybe that others need in terms of giving in relationships, so that it's not necessarily coming from what I want to give as a place of conditional love, but giving what is needed from a place of unconditional love. And I don't know if Dr. Anna has anything that she might comment on that or say about that.
Yeah, and maybe I'll comment. What we'll do is, so we'll have it be more of a conversation where the more general questions and general answers we'll totally include in everything. And if you end up wanting us to ask, or wanting us to give specific answers to you, that's when we'd love to have you pay to ask a question. So yeah, go ahead and address this in a general way. This is great. Go ahead, Dr. Anna.
So love, as you know, you cannot just tell yourself, love yourself. Does not work like this. If we could just choose, I want to love this person. No. You have to cultivate it. And you have to teach yourself how to do it. So a simple meditation. Think of love. We all have our intuitive feel what it's like. What is love? And if you just imagine looking at a person, or it could be a dog, or a cat, or a small child, looking at a person whom you really love, unconditionally, and just imagine extending this love and pouring it out, and you want to smile at them because you love them. And when you feel this feeling, this loving energy flowing out of you, just take it and inhale it in and exhale it into your eyes. Close your eyes and just sit, breathing love into your eyes. And then again, imagine looking at love. Feel this feeling. I want to extend my heart. I want to pour my heart out. I want to smile. I want to hug them. And then again, breathe this energy in and exhale it into your brain. Then do the same with every organ. You have to infuse yourself with love energy. You have to understand that you can become a cauldron for nurturing the energy, growing it, tending to it. And it's so interesting that you can flirt with yourself. You can learn more what you really like, not what other people tell you, but what you really want, what you really like, what is if you imagine that you are just falling in love and giving this love energy to yourself every day. And then it becomes natural. You feel that you are filling yourself with love, and then it's easy. You just love yourself.
Great. Yeah, there are other exercises like that too, right? I know, like the loving someone that it's easy for us to love, right? Like an animal in our life, or a child, or our child, or some other child that we're connected to that we love. Or it can even be feeling the awe of nature, which is some way connected to that feeling of love for me. And then taking it and like just pouring it over myself and imagining myself so just like bathing in the feeling of love, right? Bringing it to my own heart. Yeah, it's great. Great. I know Todd had a list in the chat. Let me go back to this. Todd, do you want to jump on and say something about it?
Sure. So let's go here. So I was pondering the hierarchy of needs and how it relates to loving yourself and loving others. In my worldview, or in my experience, it starts with survival, survival-based love, transactional-based love, contractual, and then unconditional, or somewhere like that. And then the process internally is kind of mirroring the inner world, mirroring into the inner world, or actually the inner world. This is mirroring out. And you have the universe is not providing for me versus the universe will provide for me. I need versus I don't need, I guess. I don't know, or I don't need. I just kind of start feeling like I don't know what that one is for me. I'm unclear on that. And then I desire to grow, and I only need myself. Being where unconditional love is moving into that space of saying, if I were the only being on the planet, I would still be able to have love, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, the second one for me, like an example of what it could be is like, I'll only love me if. So it could be a transactional love with myself.
Right. And with others, when we have a transactional relationship or a contractual relationship where you're providing this and I'm providing this, and it's not unconditional, and then one person can move out of that space and the other person doesn't. Yeah. So anyway, yeah.
Go ahead, Crystal. Yeah, and practitioners, don't worry about your hand so much. We can have it be more popcorn.
I've been staring at that for a while, trying to figure that out. So I'm glad we touched on that. I see like a lot of basically in this question, like if I give, what do I get type of feel. And so I want to just put this out there. One, this is your world, okay? Your boundaries, your area, your space. What you allow into your space is what you allow in. So if you allow a person that is only looking for transitional or transactional love, you're allowing that in your world. One. Two, unconditional love is is something that you have to give to the world to get back from the world. So say, you know, you're homeless or you're transient, like do you have empathy upon the world, or do you hate that about the world? You know, so I look at unconditional as I'm gonna love them because they add flavor to the world, or I'm gonna love them because they are a part of, hey, my reality of I'm not that. I'm so thankful and I'm grateful that I'm homed and I'm housed. But I'm also gonna add to that of, oh, I hope our world gets better. So let me donate, you know, money or clothes or housing. Let me show my unconditional love to the world so I could then receive that back. And then I also I see the survival for the most part, and doing energy chakra. And so that's your ages 0 to 7, and that is your house, your money, your stability, your well-being. Okay, and so if at those ages, and your love and your sexual organs too, and so if at that age that wasn't a positive experience for you, or you didn't get the needs met, you might struggle more in surviving, or in having transactional, say, like, you know, mom only gave you time when her show wasn't on or something. I don't know, like whatever that transaction was in your youth to make you need, you know, or feel that it was conditional or transactional. All right, so revisit that, and then start working with your inner child to see where you can heal those transactions. And then I want you to think about your friend. Say your best friend, right? What transaction happens there? Because I feel like everybody has a friend that makes you laugh, okay? Or you go out with this one friend because you know he drinks, or you go out with this one friend because you know they like to go shopping. Okay, the exchange of energy right there is transactional. I for example, Laureli. Hey, Laureli, we got a MeWe fair going on. Cool, I'll be there. You know, that's transactional. You're sending a text, you're sending information. That's transactional. So, what are you benefiting? What are you giving in just your everyday relationships? Look at that on a smaller scale, and then you could look at it on a larger scale. And then, you know, there's this whole controversy of men giving money to women, men being providers, this and that and this and that. But look at it as, would you want your friend to struggle? Like, if your friend came to you and said, hey, I can't pay my phone bill, can you loan me a couple of bucks? Like, would you do that? You know, because that's your friend, and you want to be able to call your friend. And you're not probably going to say, oh man, what am I going to get? Well, you're going to get a call. You're going to get him to be able to call you, you know? And so it's how far you want to give in your universe. Okay. I hope that helps, Todd.
Thank you. Yes. I think when I was younger, though, I was too giving, and people would take advantage of that. So I learned to stop giving a little bit, and that's how I love myself. But I know when to give and when not to. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Saying no is definitely can be a form of self-love, self-honor.
And I think
Definitely.
this is such an interesting part of the conversation, because, and Todd, I really like that piece you just mentioned about the you know, the giving too much and then creating a boundary system that worked for you, that felt life-giving for you. And I think all that when we're talking about unconditional love or conditional love, right, and where all of these pieces might come from for all of us, of why we might go through some of that list, Todd, that you were mentioning of some of the ways unconditional love may show up. is if we remove all of that, right, and we put, because that's all conditional, right? If you want to use the word conditional of why we believe that, right? A lot of that stuff might be based on past beliefs, belief systems, experiences. But if we just look at if we look at unconditional love, like that is abundance. There is no end, right, to how life-giving love is. And so sometimes the way I look at this is we come up with our system of being in the world where we feel safe, right? We go back to that boundary piece that makes us feel that we can be in a heart open place. And if we have permission, right, to create a world that feels safe to us and life-giving, and we can stay in a vibration of heart energy and openness, then when we fill ourselves with love, right, this idea that there's no end to how much we can receive, how much grace we can receive, how much energy we can put into ourselves, then that isn't selfish in any way with a small s. That's selfish with a capital S, of just filling the self. And when we can fill the self, when we have that permission and that belief system of doing that, then when that's full, then anything that overflows is then what we put out into the world. That is unconditional love. That is just that vibration of love that is not sacrificing something of ourselves or transactional or anything. It's literally that vibration of love that overflows because we're full, and that we get to be, that overflow is what we just give willingly out of the knowing of the abundance of love, that it is, it is not taking anything from anyone, including ourselves. So, and that is, I call that serving from our fullness, just serving from our fullness.
Yeah, I was thinking about, when we're first born, and the loving touch and the experience that we have when we're inside our mom's uterus. Our job is to get love. So I often talk about how whatever happens, we end up wiring that in our brains as love, even if it's really hard. But then some things are maybe harder. I don't know. I say some things are harder than others. Some experiences are harder than others. Some experiences are harder for us to integrate than others. And so hopefully, right, we got touch and we got connection, and we had someone else loving us and putting us in that field of love as kids, or that we had some other connection to spirit. And like one of our practitioners that's been returning is calling her work now reparenting, and it's like loving all the parts of us, right? So our job is just to keep going from wherever we are, and to love and love and love all the parts that we can. Maybe we want to talk about what are some of the ways that we are self-loving, in a non-sexual context. I know, like taking really hot baths is one way that I did for, a good decade or more. When I first got divorced, I was totally in the hot bath all the time when I first split with my husband. Yeah, it took more baths than any other part of my life. It's a way of holding myself. So all different kinds of ways that we practice self-love. Yeah, writing in the chat, right? All the ways that our parents could and couldn't love us. Go ahead, Dr. Lincoln.
It's I didn't know where to put this comment, so I didn't say it. So I'm pretty sure it won't fit anywhere, so I'll just say it. There's a lot, but Laureli reminded me of it with the bath thing. There's a lot of mood. I mean, I don't think anybody knows what love means to them. I think you'd probably be hard pressed to communicate it to somebody else. Our language, I was noticing that, the ancient Greeks had, 9 words for love, or maybe it's 12, I don't remember. And we've kind of forgotten it. It just doesn't compute in our language, in our world. We need it. We talk about it, sort of. We don't make a very good case for it, and we don't really know what it is. So you talk about, do you have it for yourself? I don't know. I don't even know what it is. I know a lot of people who you could say were deficient or defective or insufficient with love, but I couldn't explain it to them, and they don't generally feel that's their problem. So, all this sort of, I feel like I'm shooting at a dartboard and missing every time, which is fine, because I think that's part of what, or some part of what love is sensory. So when you take a bath, the senses, I mean, you could say it's doing well for yourself is a small part of it. So one of the things that I've been working on recently is heart rate variability, which is a very physiological thing. And I think love is a physiological thing too. I think it's very connected to everything in your body. And when your body is not working, and I say body, I mean your mind as well as your spirit, when there's something off, the whole system gets kind of out of balance. So it is somewhat mysterious that you can actually work with the beat of your heart to coordinate it, to make its rhythms smooth and coordinated with your breath and other systems in your body. There are a lot of systems in your body, like everything. And it changes your mood. So just to cut to the chase here, there's these biofeedback devices where you get your heart rate variability score as you practice. And it turns out that the thing that affects it most is your mood, not your breath, not your pulse, not your activity. It's your mood. It's what you feel emotionally actually reflects the smoothness of the beat of your heart, which is, I don't know what you want to say, amazing. But I just wanted to bring it up because you can work the other way around. Things that make your body comfortable and make you feel not stressed or not threatened or feeling physically secure. You could say the bottom of the hierarchy of your needs. But I don't think you need to go that far. Just, feeling, I mean, this is why we overeat. And this is why we overdo in lots of things to make ourselves feel better. And it percolates down to ultimately a spiritual level. So I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is you can work at it. It's a holistic concept, love, and you have to work at it holistically. You have to take care of yourself, your environment, the people around you. You have to take responsibility for the world. You have to provide service to yourself and to others. You have to attempt to have some sort of moral guidance, rudder, progress. And so without, if there's something missing, it's very hard to say what the problem is, but the consequence is, so I'm a therapist, and, you could say to everybody, your problem is you don't have enough self-love. And sometimes I say it, but, why bother if they don't get what you mean? And I'm not even sure what I mean. People struggle with their problems, and you'd like to say, just be positive, just live life and appreciate what you've got, and don't ask anything of people who are unable to give it to you. And in a sense, that's what I keep telling people in whatever their language of the moment happens to be. So what I'm trying to say is the physical is very important. The physical is very important to self-love. And I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense, but it just seems to work.
I'm going to jump in and say something quick about heart math. Crystal's got something. So I hosted some workshops with a person that did research in heart math for about 10-ish years. And so she's now an energy healer and practitioner in other ways. And So as she was teaching it, she has people think about love, think about someone they love as a way of getting their heart to be into the pattern. Yeah, that the heart math tools measure or aim right and aiming for. And then it makes sense that as we're more in that flow, that we probably feel more love too. So I'd not talked about it the other way around, but yeah. Oh, maybe I'll just throw in too and part of what was so fun in all the studies that they share about is how the heart is psychic, and that our heart predicts what's going to happen, where it's scientifically measurable that our heart knows things before. So I don't know, all you on the panel too know this, but they can even do things like pulling cards, and the heart tells us what the card's going to be before the card is pulled. So I, being a scientist, find it so fun when all these things merge and mix and helping us like be more aware of the magic of our existence. Crystal.
That's what I was gonna say. I love that you two are physicists because there is an actual physical disease. I don't want to call it broken heart syndrome, but I think it might be called that, to where, you know, people have died because their significant other have died. And I have two experiences of that. My dad had a stroke because his best friend died the day before. And then the same week, my best friend died, and I signed my divorce papers, and I ended up in the hospital with chest pain. One. And then two, I put in the chat levels of vibrational energy. I did a talk with Laureli a long time ago on this, of LOVE, levels of vibrational energy. And if you keep it high, okay, so that's love for yourself. There's charts everywhere that show excitement, enlightenment, joy, love, all these things being really high at your highest of high frequency. Okay, that's when you're happiest. That's when you're bringing in the most what's the word, when you're using your magic, you're magnetic, you're bringing in everything that you want because you're staying at these high levels of frequency, which is essentially love. You know, they say in different religions and cultures and stuff, like in the Bible, for example, is that, you know, it's love is love, like God is love, you know, creator is love, we are love. And so if we take that and we just walk around and be love, if we give, you know, positive love to a situation, it's going to keep us in our highest frequency, you know, keep our world, again, our universe, our energy, our bubbles in such a high frequency that we're not gonna hurt. We're not gonna, not that we're not gonna hurt, but we're not gonna be as easily down and lower frequencies. You know, we're not going to be able to feel bad and feel this and that. We're going to learn from it, and we're going to acknowledge it, and then we're going to flip it. We're going to transmute it into, hey, I learned this. I learned that I love all my exes because I learned something from all of them. And if I didn't, then I wouldn't be the person I am today or where I am today, because they were all lessons that I needed, that I wrote into my contract, you know. And that's what we're doing, is that we're experiencing lessons in love, essentially. And so we're picking our lessons, we're choosing, we're saying, hey, that person looks great, let me learn this lesson, you know, for lifetimes sometimes, or for a week. And then it reflects upon us. Oh, let's see, I didn't self-love myself, so I had to go look for somebody else to teach me. Okay, I didn't acknowledge that you know, I eat too many cookies. So I needed somebody to give me the whole Willy Wonka chocolate factory until I got a darn cavity. Thank you. Thank you. Just an example. I'm sorry.
No, and part of us is loving our journey, however long it takes for us to, you know, see whatever, be with whatever. Gina's got something to share.
Yeah, I was really thinking about what Dr. Lincoln was saying about you know, how emotions affect how we are. And I think Todd wrote in the chat, you know, well, then train your brain. And I really think that's an important part of the conversation, because to your point, Crystal, like to focus on the positive things, right? Like to stay in that vibration, right? That is such a, the place, the overflow, right? And so many of us, myself included, I've spent most of my life navigating the negative voices in my head, and the belief systems and all of the patterns, right? And just wearing those neural pathways over and over again of whatever the thought of the day is, unworthiness, whatever the negative thought is. And so, I think learning and understanding that, listening to those voices and being aware of who's talking in our heads becomes the practice of being aware of them, recognizing them, deciding what we think about them, and then choosing, right, to turn the volume down on those, to go back to that phrase, to turn the volume down on those, right? Create a new way of thinking. What do we believe now? What's true for us now? And turn the volume up on that. And that it's practice. It's like stopping the flow of the Grand Canyon, right? It's going of the river, right? It's going to the Colorado River. It's going to take practice to stop the decades sometimes of thought patterns, and then begin to create a new groove of the new belief system that keeps us in that higher vibration. And so it is training your brain. And to that point of that, emotion is the thing that affects the heart beat the most. To me, there's nothing more important than becoming very practiced, very committed to making that shift. And it's hard, and it's really hard at first when you're creating that new pathway, and then it's just easy, right? The whole body, every part of the body goes, oh yeah, that feels good. So I just want to put that out there, that it's as a pathway to self-love, that that it can be hard work because we're human and we have these thought patterns, but that it is doable, and it is changeable, and it is worth it.
I have a comment. We're not supposed to sell things here, so instead of selling something, I'll give it away. I wrote this book I just published, and it's like a tar baby. There's so much work to do in a book. And I published it myself, so I got twice as much work to do. And the book is called Sensations, Thoughts, and Emotions. And I didn't craft it as a discussion on self-love, but it's basically a discussion on health. And the sensations part is your body, and the thought part is your mind, and the emotions part is, I kind of think emotions are close to spirit. I mean, they're mysterious and unavoidable, and they guide us like spirit. So I want to say that if anybody wants to write me, I'll send you a link for a free copy of the ebook. And it makes it a little hard. You have to email me.
And it's okay. You can sell your book too. I put it in the
Well,
chat, and it's on Amazon.
You can buy
But yeah,
the thing, but if you write me, I'll send you a free copy of the digital book. It's a long book, and you can write me a reader review if you want, or not. I don't care. But I mean, how many people are here? What am I losing? $10? I don't care. So it's useful, and maybe it's too big for most people, but it's easy to read because it's like they're all short chapters, all on these topics. Like 60 chapters on this topic. So if you check it out, I don't know. I'll put my email in the chat, although I guess Laureli already did somewhere, right?
it's great. Thanks. And I'm putting a whole bunch of the Greek forms of love in the chat too. Dr. Anna's got something to share.
So it's important to understand that love is healing. So I had this eye injury. I broke my bones and it was the most painful thing. And I had to stay, quiet and sit and just allow it to heal. And you can do a lot, even if you are not a doctor, but you can give yourself love. So it's easy. You imagine that there is this pool of love, there is a lot of love, abundance of love. And you imagine that you relax enough so you can allow love to just flow through you. And then you direct it, you imagine that you're guiding this flow into the part that needs it. And all you do, you sit and you smile into this area and you just imagine directing love to it. And it's a beautiful experience. Just be your own giver of love. And it's a tingly feeling. So when you relax deeply and you just say, hey, I am channeling love. Please, love, flow here. And you smile and you relax and you imagine light flowing through you. And you start getting this tingly feeling. It's just so interesting. You get this like bzzz. And you understand that this is real energy. The more you relax, the more you concentrate on it. And if you just allow it to flow and you imagine you're guiding it, you're just sending it, infusing into every cell, every bone. It's beautiful.
What's up, practitioners, if you're all up for this? One of the things that we do in authentic relating games sometimes is we take turns. We'll have one person look at the camera with loving intention while the other person looks at them and sees them looking into the lens. So we all, if you like, you use your finger to see where your camera is, so know where you're looking on your screen. And DoveLight, if you're there, you could do this too. And DoveLight, I want to hear from you about any of this. But yeah, so if everyone on the panel just look as lovingly into your camera. And so it's a way that can feel a bit like eye gazing here. Yeah, so we're just all of us as a field sending love. Yeah, and what is this like for you in the audience watching and for anyone that watches this video later, where we're all just sending love, right? And part of being able to send it, as we've talked about, is generating this field in yourself. Yeah. Okay, we can pause and bring that back in. But yeah, anyone wants to share what that's like, seeing us?
Wait, I'm right here. I felt like doing the exercise. It was a little bit too short, but I felt like doing the exercise was really valuable because we are talking about love, which is fine. We need to understand as human beings, we are multidimensional beings. We have an emotional, mental, a physical body. We have different types of bodies, and the way that from a spiritual perspective, every single soul, every single spirit is already connected to the love of the divine, the source of unconditional love. The source of unconditional love goes beyond religion, culture, tradition, reincarnation, wherever the soul chosen to be in this planet. It's the source of unconditional love. From our spiritual perspective, God, Buddha, the source will never ever judge you or punish you for whatever you do in your human experience. It is the own soul on a deeper level who knows about checks and balances. They in a way, what we say, that what you give out will come back to you one way or another. But the source of unconditional love is the source of unconditional love. And sometimes we humans struggle to understand this. There is a higher power, not higher because it's better or than us, but it's part of us that love us no matter what. No matter what. This is what we call divine love. And it will just love you regardless. And we do have access to it. Many for us are understanding in the human planet that we are from love. But when we're here, we are learning what is not love, or how can we express, manage, grow, expand, learn, get an insight, be wisdom through that love. And that might be looking different for everybody. For some people, for example, self-love, like I say, it's to be with somebody that you truly love no matter what. That's unconditional love. For other people, self-love can be putting your boundary on somebody that you truly love because it's not for your highest good. Both cases and scenarios, they're talking about love. The one is for boundaries, the other one is for staying no matter what. The soul chooses this in the realm. And if you genuinely want to have a more understanding of why in your particular case you have to go through the things that you have, because it's nice when somebody tells you, oh, you're meant to be doing this, you're meant to be doing that, you can learn from this, you can learn from that, but it is not the same feeling as if you can feel it from your soul. And it is, you don't need to go to a monthly trainings, you don't need to pay expensive retreats. The only thing you really need to do is just take a moment to feel yourself, feel your energy, listen to your voice. It's free. It's free. You can have the most powerful enlightenment experience just by having the intention to connect with the source. Because the reason of why we're breathing at this moment, the reason why the cells are working, the reason why we can heal when we get wounded is because we are always, thank you, they are always connected to this love. So if we can remember, because we are meant to learn what love is, was not, that's what we forget. If we can remember that no matter what, we have this power, this support, this source that live within us and it's willing to help us, then we understand why we did the things that we did, how we are the things that we are, why we can change. The angels has always told me, we will never judge you for having human emotions. Some people need to learn envy, to learn what is not to be envy. Some people like to hurt other people, not because hurting other people is good, but there is a soul contract of forgiveness because the other soul person wants to learn what it's like to really forgive. And so you see, you can't really judge or say you're the good guy, you're the bad guy, or I'm doing wrong, you are doing right, or why am I not where I'm supposed to be? Because like we say, every single soul, it's so unique, it's so beautiful, and have the potential to expand and grow and continue to remember how to love ourselves. So if anything, that would be like one of the two main things that I would love to say very clear. Allow time to feel your connection that you already have. No matter what you feel you did wrong, no matter what you feel that you haven't achieved or done yet, this unconditional love power will help you, will guide you, will become your cheerleader. It will help you to shift your mind. It will open roads for you. And you don't need to do absolutely nothing but have the intention to connect. And this is not something that's wishy-washy or not. This is a reality fact. Every single human being has the potential to connect with this divine love that will guide it through their human experience, whatever you've chosen to do here or to be here. And yeah, that's one of the things that I would like to say. And please do not try to have the habit, and this is a habit that I'm learning myself. Try to have the habit to don't judge yourself so hardly for what. Don't do it. It's good that we experience what it feels to judge yourself, but let us try to remember how not to do it, because at the end of the day, you're going to end up with you. No matter if you're married, you have kids, or you have a promotion or a job, at the end of the day, you're still with you and you will live with you. So it is the memory, the experience, the love, and the action, the conflict, you will be eternal within you. So it's better to start cultivating the habit to be more kind, more wonderful. And if you are in a place right now at this moment where it doesn't feel like I love myself, it doesn't feel true, you start seeing your wrinkles, you start seeing your loneliness, you start being hoarding and putting that, it's okay. Just take a moment to observe yourself. Because sometimes we are not ready, but even when you're not ready, you still have this backup within you, this power within you that's willing to help you for when you're willing to open your heart. Because not even forgiveness and not even opening your heart to the state natural being that we are can be forced on you. And that's also a way to love yourself. The divine is allowing to show you the love it has for you, to allow you to make your own choices, to allow you to choose your path, even when we in spirit or when we ask for help. So that's what I mean by connecting to your soul, because this is who we are. We are love. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, DoveLight. Go ahead, Crystal.
That was a great exercise, but I ended up sending like energy, like Reiki energy through the computer. So, and then I also felt like I was going cross-eyed. So I can't wait to watch it. But after that, I got a message to tell everybody, and that was unconditional love is not going to, if it's real unconditional love, it's not going to make you cross your boundaries. So, like, you know, domestic violence, touching on all that subject, like, oh, you love it. If somebody hurts you physically and they said, oh, you don't love me because you're not staying. Well, if that's a boundary that you have, that's not love. So I don't know who needed to hear that, but I hope you get the message. Having people cross your personal boundaries and make you unsafe, okay? Because initially 0 to 7, we need to feel safe in our stability, in our body, even with that loud noise in the beginning. You know, that's trauma from inner child work. You were startled by a loud noise as a child, so it doesn't now. Okay, so your boundaries, whenever your boundaries are being crossed, no, that is not love. Please, 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 please.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Reiki is a form of love. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Yeah, someone mentioned it was not nearly enough time. Someone said, wow. And someone said not nearly enough time. We always could take turns doing it too, so we can all experience each other. Those of us up here too. But, yeah. Oh, and Gina, you said you have a poem you could read.
Yeah, I do. And before I move to that, I'm just kind of taking in what Crystal said and just really feeling the importance of that distinction and that permission and that guidance. So yeah, so I'm just kind of letting that just be here in the field a second. Yeah, and what I want to read, it's a book I have in my office. I don't have it here, but I was able to find it online. And this, you know, this quest for love, this longing for self-love, this kind of looking for our compass and our roadmap, right, back to ourselves, is something that has been part of the human experience forever. And so what I love about this poem I'm going to share is that it is a contemporary translation of the Egyptian Book of the Dead, which contains 5,000-year-old texts that were written. You know, people think the Egyptian Book of the Dead, you know, might be this, you know, this topic that's very heavy and it's about death, but it's about life. And it was written, you know, for and by priestess and priestesses and for those to bring this into the world. And so I love this one because it carries to me, the vibration of what connecting to that love will be. And so I will I'll read through some of it, and then I'll just kind of check in and see if you want me to read the end. But I just invite you, as you listen, you can close your eyes, you can find a position that feels spaciousness to you, and let yourself just kind of be taken away by the beautiful words. And so this is Becoming the Lotus from the book Awakening Osiris, the Egyptian Book of the Dead, translated by Norman D. Ellis. And she currently lives in Kentucky, and is an amazing healer and Egyptologist. As if I'd slept 1,000 years underwater, I wake into a new season. I am the blue lotus rising. I am the cup of dreams and memory opening. I, the 1,000-petaled flower. At dawn, the sun rises naked and new as a babe. I open myself and am entered by light. This is the joy, the slow awakening into fire as one by one the petals open, as the fingers that held tight the secret unfurl. I let go of the past and release the fragrance of flowers. And as I move into the second paragraph, these are hieroglyphics, again, from 5,000 years ago, people with the same longing. I open and light descends, fills me and passes through, each thin blue petal reflected perfectly in clear water. I am that lotus, filled with light reflected in the world. I float content within myself, one flower with 1,000 petals, one life lived 1,000 years without haste, one universe sparking 1,000 stars, one God alive in 1,000 people. If you stood on a summer's morning on the bank under a brilliant sky, you would see the 1,000 petals and say that together they make the lotus. But if you lived in its heart, invisible from without, you might see how the ecstasy at its fragrant core gives rise to its 1,000 petals. And there's just a paragraph left, stanza left. What is beautiful is always that which is itself in essence a certainty of being. I marvel at myself and the things of the earth. I float among the days in peace, content. Not part of the world is all the parts of me. I open toward light and lift myself to the gods and the perfume of prayer. I ask for nothing beyond myself. I own everything I need. I am content in the company of a God, a prayer that contains its own answer. I am the lotus. As if from a dream, I wake up laughing. And that piece, speaks to that vibration of the heart, and many, many, many of the translations speak to the longing and the quest to feel whole, and that part of the human experience of that deep thing we're doing tonight. The same process, the same curiosities. Thank you for listening. I love sharing her work.
Thank you. Dr. Anna.
So if you imagine that you are like a musical instrument, you are physical, but there is this energy flowing through you. So you can move, you can think, you can speak. And if you imagine that you are born with your melody, your song, which is very pure, and only you can bring it out. So this is love. And as you grow up, often you receive melodies and bits of pieces and lots of noise from other people. And your melody becomes distorted. So when you learn to love yourself, you learn to distinguish, this is not my song, this is not my melody. What is my song? What is my melody? What is flowing through me? And it could take a lifetime until you discover, oh, this is who I am. This is what I am expressing. And then life changes. And you begin to understand that other people, they may look unlovable, they may seem bad, but maybe they're at a stage when they're still polluted, when there's still a lot of noise, when they don't know who they are. And who knows? The same person could change and could discover that they could be this clear melody, beautiful love.
Just I know this has me thinking too of like all the messy ways that people share love, you know, and you could say anyone that has more spaciousness and capacity, like any other kind of love seems smaller or less, or like we could judge it that way. So I was thinking about how when someone likes someone else when we're little kids, you know, and the ways that they're kind of hard with them, but it's a way of expressing the love because it's the best way they know how, and just all the various ways that we share. And so the more we're able to, like the bombers that were here today, right? So they're actually sharing love the best way they know how, you know? Like it doesn't feel so great, maybe. And they really are doing the best that they know how with us, with themselves, with us, right? They need attention, they want attention. And, you know, like there's some way that they feel connected to us and they come back. Those might be the teenagers that have come a number of times that were here today. I'm not sure. But, you know, really, like anyone that's bombing in some ways, they're doing their best to share love. They just don't have the capacity
They
to do
wanted to
more.
say bye, but they didn't want to stay.
Yeah.
Let me just take the devil's advocate for
Yeah.
the useful and loving purpose that there is in this a big issue of boundaries. Part of the whole thing is boundaries, right? What you'll accept, what you have to give, what you think other people should receive, where you'll give of yourself, whether you'll come forward and ask for what you need. It can be unproductive to confuse your boundaries. I mean, it can be worse than that, right? But at least, and I think the point is that we try to be productive and we try to be positive most of the time. And Laurel, I would agree that even making mistakes is positive. I certainly agree that if you don't make mistakes, you don't learn, period. But there's this sort of boundary thing, like you have to have enough in the emotional bank to survive the mistakes that you have to make. So yeah, I mean, the bombers have a role. I mean, if you want to go so far, you could say bombers have a role, physical, but there's a boundary, right? So, and it's just so hard to talk about because I guess for everybody it's different. But it should be, it should be emphasized that
See,
there are
we're getting
boundaries.
bombed by the kitty and the kitty is sharing love.
Yeah, well, that kitty, I'll tell you, animals will always know better than we. But I don't think they have the patience to teach us because they were just so thick, you know. Yeah, and that's the lesson always, whenever this cat comes, I say, I should stop whatever I'm doing and give the cat what it needs because it knows I'm too
He
upset.
knows no boundaries.
And it doesn't ask for much, just recognition and food.
So fun.
I just wanted to add to what you was saying. I think it's really important if you know thyself. So if you're trying to go out there dating, go date yourself first, obviously. But knowing your boundaries, if you haven't experienced, a cat on your lap in front of Zoom, then you're not gonna know what to do, and you rolled with the flow. But in other cases, people with, harsher boundaries or weaker boundaries are maybe more accepting of things that they're not really wanting. Like, I'm sure you don't really want the cat on the computer on your lap is fine,
Not on the
but
keyboard.
you're gonna you're gonna make it known. And so you're setting that boundary, but you didn't have that experience before. So, you didn't know that you didn't like that. There's multiple different aspects of it. But knowing yourself before you step out into the world, at least, like 80% is probably know yourself a little bit better before you present yourself to somebody, I would say, and love yourself fully before you allow loving somebody else to love you, or before you project your love onto somebody else. I want to see the kitty again. I was screaming that whole time.
Yeah,
What's the cat's name?
I'll show you his face. His name is Mario because he has a mustache.
Oh, Mario.
Oh,
That's
that's
great.
hilarious.
Come on, look at the camera, you silly cat.
It was that Egyptian poem that brought him.
Maybe.
Said you're talking my love language.
I think another thing we're saying also, all of our comments have to come from left field or right field or out of the cosmos. Every problem is a great opportunity to focus on self-love. Every problem, every interruption, every disruption, every dissatisfaction. I think that's a really easy exercise because our life is so full of them. Everyone is an exercise in life and death. It's just everything should be an exercise in celebration of life. Yes. But I mean, it ends up sort of sounding sort of like oatmeal after a while. But so you can't say it too much. It's true, but
You can, you just have to add fruit or brown sugar. Serve it different ways. Just don't, not cold.
Go ahead, Dr. Anna.
So food, I wanted to talk about so often people have all those ideas that I cannot eat this food, I cannot eat this food, and we learn to be afraid of it. But let's imagine eating with love. Putting food on a plate and really arranging it so it's beautiful. And then imagining this beautiful scene and saying, I love you, food. I love you, you're so beautiful. And then you eat it and you feel the love. You put some sprinkles on food. And after you're done, often people like get going, just stay a little bit and say, thank you, body. Thank you, stomach. Thank you, God. And please digest this beautiful food and smile all over yourself. And it's so, food turns into a ritual. And it takes longer, but then because you have to spend more time with much less. So you just chew and imagine this is love going into me. And it just an easy meditation to do.
I know my mind is still kind of noodling around what I was saying about the bombers being love, and we're talking about boundaries. So anything that I might feel as love, that I might aim to send to someone as love, might not feel loving to them. Right? It might not land as love. Right? I might make something with gluten to someone that's allergic to gluten, and it doesn't feel like love. They might pick up the, they might receive the love and not the food with the gluten. Or I had what was a very dear, important friendship to me, and because I gave something to someone, I gave a gift to someone that wasn't sufficiently aware of their trauma, that they'd shared with me that I wasn't sufficiently perceptive enough with. And I mean, it was like the straw that broke the camel's back kind of thing, in whatever way that she was so sensitive right then. So I just looked at it the other day. I still have it in my drawer, and it was from, maybe 15 years ago or more. And yeah, so even though we might do something that we aim to express love, it might not land. So my opportunity then is to love me, knowing that what I did didn't land. And, layers and layers, and reminding myself. Yeah, because I think like every time I notice any like bits that I don't love, like to love that, that's the thing to do. And I get that the bombers may not have the intention of sharing love.
This is also, when you're speaking, reminds me to something very important as well, that we don't have control again of what the meaning of love means for other people, because I believe many of us has passed through situations when people say that they love us. Oh, I hurt you because I love you. Oh, I love you, you're my best friend, and all that. But behind your back, she's talking bad about you when you know that. But this person still telling you that you love her. Or other people who stay with people who are married, for example, it's married to somebody else, but you're choosing to stay with this person because this person tells you that he loves you. So that means that we don't have control over how other people see love, but we should never compromise our truth on what love means for us in a healthy way. We should never align it to somebody else just because we want to feel accepted or we want to explore if it's what we feel like we deserve. So I really love when you say that this person might not accept my love, but we also have to understand that love means different for everybody, and that's okay. It has nothing to do with you. One of the things that I find challenging when dealing with relationships, it's that a lot of people felt that because the other person reject them, or they feel like it's something about them, they make it too personal, you know. Oh, it's rejecting because I'm not good enough, or maybe I should get a surgery, or maybe I should lose weight, and things like that. And if you really take a moment to understand how much hurt you are doing to yourself, because now it's not only the person who, for whatever reason, might reject you or not. Maybe he doesn't know how to love. Maybe he doesn't really care about loving somebody. Or maybe he's a good person, but he's meant to be with somebody else. Maybe you are such a beautiful soul, but you're meant to be with somebody else. But not only we are seeing the rejection from the outside, but we're also rejecting ourselves in our own mind, in our own way. And we are doing exactly the opposite of love. I need to attach to this person, or no, cannot let this go, this person, because I love him so much. Can you see how much you are not loving yourself? You're hurting yourself. And can we acknowledge that that's not for judges, because perhaps that's the best we can do at that level of understanding. But if you can give yourself one moment of being aware, and if you can put yourself in a situation where you can say, if somebody that I truly love will be in my situation, will I advise her to do that? Even though it's you have to be really unapologetically sincere with you. So that's another thing to cultivate about self-love. Do the best you can, even if you don't know, start trying by willing to be sincere about yourself. Don't hide things just because you're scared to let them go. Be sincere to yourself. You cannot fake your feelings. Everybody knows when somebody, it's like, has, even if you don't understand the situation, you know inside of you when somebody truly is mistreating you. And you should never allow that. And sometimes people come into our life to teach us how to say no, how to stop mistreating ourselves. It has nothing to do with them. It's more about, one day I will learn this and I will not allow it because I love myself enough. So please never ever again judge yourself or be hard on yourself because you find your situation in the end when you're still struggling or being in an unhealthy situation because of love. Just the recommendation will be that you be aware so you don't stay in dual that, because the only person that is going to get hurt at the end of the day is you, and you don't deserve to live a life when you always suffering or hurt. That's what it was coming up. Okay, thank you, bye.
I was gonna say it is perspective, and people forget that, you know, some people are colorblind. So, and then who's to say, you know, the smartest man in the world said, you know, that's a tree right there, and somebody else decided to call it a root. You know, it's all it's all it's all perspective. And then if we are living in a, I like to call it multiverse, again, you're living in your own little separate worlds, right? And so here we are, like we're all Spider-Man, but we're different types of Spider-Mans, you know. But what we're doing is we're essentially all atoms and we're all vibrating, okay? Everything living is vibrating. We're all energy vibrating. And so one or two things are going to happen is we're going to vibrate together, or we're going to repel. Okay. And so going through life, you may get a partner or a friend or a person, and you're at the same vibration at that time in that moment. And then, you know, say you started eating gluten-free and your friend isn't. So you're not going to go to lunch as much, and you're going to start not vibrating on the same levels. And then you're going to eventually repel. And so that happens, you know, in relationships and family and friendships, and especially when you're going through your enlightenment and your awakening and your spiritual ascension. It you cause yourself to be a different vibration, especially if you do start loving yourself and people don't like that, or they like it. You know, you're going to start attracting and repelling different types of people, and that's okay as long as you love yourself, and again, know thyself. All right, so vibrate safely, I guess, and carefully.
There's some chatter going on in the chat. I was part of some of the chatter. Like I changed my name. You know, that was an act of self-love for me. And you can say that it was that I didn't accept the other names that I had. And the name that I have now just felt like it was more in alignment with me and the expression of me. Right. So my dad didn't experience it as loving that I changed my name. So the same act can be, you know, totally received in different ways.
I think that's
And
really interesting. Oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
Okay. Is when that acceptance piece, when we, to your point, Crystal, like when we begin our, you know, our evolution and our growth, kind of up that, you know, eternal, that spiral, right? That just keeps on going. Other people may not understand it. And as you were saying, they, you know, might not vibrate at the same place anymore. And so there is a lot of fear sometime around, you know, I want to move towards this new way of being in love with myself. I want to move into this place that feels more whole to me. And yet there may also be fear about some of the things that we might lose because of it. And so for that, sometimes I call that a little exercise. And it's just like intuitive knowing, right? And so it's listing out all the things that we might be afraid of, right? So we can just say, I'm afraid that if I pursue what I really want, I'm going to lose this friend. I'm afraid if I pursue what I want, people are going to say like, oh, who do you think you are? You know, whatever these things are for you. I'm afraid that if I grow and change, then I'll have to somehow discount and criticize everything I did to get to this point, and I won't know how to deal with that. I'm afraid if I start listening to myself more, it's going to be a lot of pressure. Whatever these things are, right? We all have our thoughts. And those are just fears, and we get to name them and give them a place. But then we connect with our heart, right? And then we connect with our heart, and with this movement towards this new way of being that we know brings us to our wholeness, and connecting to that heart. And then we center and we ground, and then we say, what does my heart say? And so this is listening to that voice and turning up the volume of that voice and choosing this one to listen to. And if I listen to that voice in that scenario, it would say, I know this is exactly what I want to be doing. I know that it really doesn't feel like a choice because I've been put here for a purpose, and this moves me towards my purpose. I know that some people may feel left behind, and I will do whatever I can without sacrificing myself and have compassion for them, but I won't sacrifice myself. And nothing's worth losing my peace. And so you could then connect with that voice and what is true, and then that one becomes the one, right, that guides you with that courage and that movement, without just discounting the fears, right?
Yeah, I was thinking about my colleague's book, Love Loves Fear.
What is it? Love
loves fear. And you know, some people talk about like everything is love or fear, you know, like somewhere on the axis. And it's a very simple book that's done in a little bit like a children's book. And it's all these examples of how, you know, and the thing then is love loves whatever shows up, you know, so that love also loves fear. And like love melts, you know, all the things that are in the way of love.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, beautiful. That's Barb Ryan. She's in Eugene. Yeah.
So the acronym LOVE levels
It's
of
love.
vibrational energy. I did one for fear, and it was false emotions appearing real. And then the MC squared, you know, it's energy is emotions and motion. So your emotions is energy and motion. And like if your energy is at its highest frequency, you know, it's great, it's love. And if it's at its lowest frequency, I guess it should be false energy appearing real. you know, because it's just energy being false when it just needs to be raised. I have to
Yeah, that's
rewrite that
great.
one.
Yeah, that's great. False energy appearing real. Right, Dr. Anna?
Like foul energy.
Oh, yeah, Shen had something, yeah.
So I love doing practical activities because talking about it, it's difficult to understand because it's so big and words are all around. So you can start distinguishing how do you experience it differently. Start with brain. Like if I just think love, how do I do it? What love means in a brain? And then move to the eyes and think, what do I need to see to feel love? How do I receive it through the eyes? Then ears, what do I need to hear to feel love? Then, what do I need to smell? What does love smell to me? How am I speaking when I am feeling love? What is going on? And then go here. Think, heart, how do I feel here? If I just imagine putting my whole consciousness inside my heart and think how it feels to be in love, and then imagine moving it in your abdomen and think, what does my gut needs to feel? How love feels in my tummy and skin. How do I feel love in my skin? And then you can do bones. How my bones need to feel. And then you begin to understand it more. What do you need to experience so you know it's love?
And I knew you sharing that got me thinking about the love languages too. Yeah, let's go back to something that we shared in the beginning, right? We have to know how we experience love in order to support others to know how to share love with us. Well, it's an opportunity that they might feel more fulfilled in sharing it, and we might feel more fulfilled in receiving. So what I was going to
I
mention
don't think
too.
it's a coincidence.
Go ahead.
I was going to say every time she talks about food and love, you know, people, they say when they're in love, they gain weight, right? Like they want that warm, full feeling. We got to start giving it to ourselves and not looking for food. As I'm eating a cookie.
I don't think I've ever gained weight when I've started dating someone. So that's not not everyone has this pattern. I think like lack of love, and I might look for it in food instead of getting it from someone. That might be more common for me. I was just going to say, just to the people in the audience, what we often do is we answer questions during a panel. So if anyone does have a specific question for us, like a personal question that you would ask us in a private session, we would love to answer your questions. If we don't have any questions come in, we might not stay another half hour. I think we've been here a couple of hours now. But yeah, so this is a time to, if there's any topic that anyone wants to talk about in terms of self-love is soul love, anything around love, like we got a little bit more time. If you do want to ask a question of the panel, it's sliding scale. It's 20 to 28 or $12 for BIPOC folks as a step of making reparations. And I'll go ahead and put that in the chat again too. And I'll put all the practitioners' information in the chat also, so you know how to reach everyone if you'd like to do some work with them privately. We're all available to connect with you offline, or off panel, I should say. But yeah, go ahead, practitioners, if anyone wanted to share something else. Jen, did you want to share something? Maybe not. I'll mute you. Yeah. Yeah, if there's nothing else particularly tonight, we can close up too. I just want to give space to see.
It's a very difficult topic. I mean, it's so important that nobody knows what to say. You know, one of those things. I
Right.
mean, I'd like to tell people all kinds of things, but I don't know what to say that would be effective, except that it's really important. And if you didn't know that, I'd just be quiet.
Yeah, just think of so it might be great, like for everyone to make a list of how do you feel loved? How do you feel and experience love? Not only like Dr. Anna's saying, like, how do you experience it in your body, throughout all these aspects of your body? What are the practical things that you can do so that you feel loved? What are ways that you feel loved by another? Like, have a menu.
Yeah, I think that's so great. And you could even take the time that we've been together, and has there been any moment? Has there been something that was said, or so the word that you heard, a tone, a look, right? A concept, a feeling, right? Dr. Anna going through her moments where she says, in your eyes, like, was there a sensation? And let that inform you, right? As a little bit of a roadmap for, oh, that was something that felt good to me. But I was curious about that, or that rang true to me. It resonated with me. And with this menu idea is to start writing those down. And those are real moments. They're not about trying to figure out the past or what in the future will I like. It's what happened right now that informed you something about you, and that you get to go, oh man, I really like that. And it just feels good. It feels really good, I think, to know a couple of those things.
And in a partnered relationship, the partners could see where do they both feel so much love with each other, and have the list of those times too, to be able to bring those to mind all the time, whenever we want to. Yeah, easy access. It seems like Crystal has something, and maybe DoveLight has something too. Or go ahead, DoveLight. You haven't shared much.
Whoever was first, I don't want to take. Oh, that's okay. Okay. No, when you were talking about the list, something that came very strongly visually for me was that to allow the safe space when you're writing the ways that you love yourself and feel love, because pay attention in a neutral state. How do you feel? Because sometimes you're right. I love, for example, I love my body the way it is, and you start crying because you can have the awareness to know what you don't like. And this is very important because sometimes what we hold, what we suppress, we repress, and that is what makes us sick. That's what keeping us in the circle of the energetic old patterns. So sometimes the only I'm not saying, I'm not going to put it in a square because we all have different levels of healing. But if you allow the time to write down the things that you love, and you find yourself crying or angry or mad or remembering a memory when somebody mistreated you and you believe them, just allow the safe space to feel it. Drink some water, put some music, call somebody who you trust. But it is very important for you to allow a sacred space to feel your feelings, because when you take it out of your system, you're allowing the space to change it. But as long as you keep it in there, it's going to always nag you at the back and filter it. And you're gonna try to hold it, suppress it, because you don't want to deal with it. So I feel like it's very important. A lot of the angelic work, a lot of people actually get sick because they're not able to forgive for things that sometimes other people did. And just to acknowledge it aloud, this person, I don't know, bullied me in high school because of my hair was a certain color, or my mom keep bothering me on my body. Just write it down, take it out of your system, express it. You can burn the letter, you can rip it in pieces, just to express it. If it's not writing, dance it out, I don't know, sing it out, something like that. But that is a form of love, to acknowledge your own pain so you're able to move it forward and let it go. And if you feel like you cannot let it go, just acknowledge it. That will follow its course. Okay, thank you, Divine.
DoveLight just reminded me, when you drink water, get a water bottle. You could write, I love you, so-and-so, I love you, Crystal, on, and drink it and put it in your body. And then you're just spreading love all through your body. That was just random. But I was also going to say, write it down. Write down if you want your future person, manifest your future person. You know, they got to have X, Y, and Z. And then when you're out doing these things, if you're out, you know, taking yourself out to eat, oh, my future person is going to love eating here. And you might just find them there. But then, you know, also write down what you don't want, and know yourself again, know what your dislikes and your likes are, so you can bring that to your attention. And then just a lot of writing, like get together a list of what you like about you and what you think you have going, and then what you don't like, figure out how to incorporate those. That's your dark, that's your demons or your skeletons or whatever. Okay, figure out how to love those. Because the person that you want unconditional and forever love with, you're gonna have to explain those to them so they could end up loving those parts of you too. Okay, so just do a whole lot of writing, internal deep search, and get together with yourself.
Go ahead, Dr. Anna.
So I want to let my spirit talk to you because she really wants to talk about food. So let me. Hello, beautiful humans. You all have a body. How amazing it is. You are so lucky that you have a body. And do you know what you also have? You have this magical ability to take matter and energy from the outside, put it in your physical body, transform it with your breath, transform it with your fire, and turn it into you. How awesome is this? You have this amazing magical cauldron. And what you need to do is to start really loving your food. Because what you call loving your food is not love at all, because you don't know your food. If you eat food which brings poison into your body, is it really love? Are you really loving your food? No, you don't know your food. You have to be able to connect to the spirit of your food, to really understand how beautiful it is that you can take plants and sometimes animals. And you can take their life force and the elements that they accumulated in their body, and then you can put it in your body. But here is the secret. You have to do it with love. If you do it with fear, this food will make you sick and sometimes too big. You will grow your body too big. But when you truly love your food, when you understand the spirit of your food and the beauty of this transformation, you will never put any poison in your beautiful body. Goodbye.
Dr. Lincoln, was there something you wanted to share?
No, just saying goodbye to
Oh,
Thomas
okay, yeah.
channel.
All right. Well, any other things that anyone wants to share tonight before we finish up?
Well, I think that self-love is, I would say, the doorway to enlightenment, whatever that means. It's the doorway to higher consciousness. It seems that everything, it comes back that you can't conceive of anything you don't have in yourself. Understanding, wonder, life, love, death. I don't know where to start, but often I tell people, well, I don't tell them, but I kind of encourage them to follow the pain. Pain is telling you what, the little red light flashing on the dashboard is not irrelevant. It's something that needs attention. And the trouble with love is that every little red light that flashes on the dashboard is about love. So it's very confusing. It's worth investing in.
I just want to
I
say,
like to,
oh, go ahead, Crystal.
I was just gonna say I like to call that square rooting, like just in the why game. Like, kids ask, but why? But why? But why? So you see that issue or that hurt or that pain, and you just reduce it down like a fraction or a square root, and there you got your why. Oh, because X, Y, and Z happened to me this long time ago. So that's why you need an oil change. Your whole system's broken because you need an oil change. So that's why.
I love it. I love it. But why? I have a teenager that used to do the but why all the time, and he doesn't really want to know but why anymore. He was like, I don't really respect your opinion, Mom. Like, whatever you got to say is not, I don't care. It's not right. But yeah, the but whys, they would come a lot. I just wanted to say, and this is just from my heart, speaking about love, I feel so blessed and so grateful to be spending an evening with all of you. I look at the pictures below and the names and the panelists, and to me, there isn't anything more special or anywhere I'd want to be than to be with other humans who are on a quest and longing to feel their own self-love and worth and grow that and have that fill so that they can overflow and do all the good work that they want to do in the world and feel good. So like from my heart, right, from my full heart, I just want to express my gratitude. It's a really special thing that we all get to do and come together. We're all very, very lucky to be here tonight. And thank you for putting us all together.
We all make this happen all together. All right, well, go ahead, practitioner. We're going to go around and share again about who you are and what you do and where people can find you. Yeah, and I'll share about some of our upcoming events. So yeah, who wants to jump in? Should I give us an order? Maybe we'll go in reverse. I think Dr. Lincoln, was it Dr. Lincoln and then DoveLight? Going around backwards.
Okay, sure. Well, I'm a scientist and I'm a psychotherapist and a hypnotherapist. And I like to hang out with troubled, crazy, high performance, undefined people. Yes, we might be them. I like life be interesting. And the result is that I'm kind of a hermit because I don't, if I'm not talking to somebody about something that's meaningful to them, I'm not interested in talking. I've got plenty other things, plenty of other hard work to do. So I really enjoy my clients. They're like, every time I see a client, I think, what am I going to tell them today? I don't know. And that's the perfect state of mind. You don't want to know. And it usually works out. And if you think you do know, you probably have to let go of it. So, we talk about love and self-love. I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things, it when you see it, maybe sometimes. And I've had 2 marriages that failed. And, it's like, if you really want to learn and you really want to be blessed, you're going to get several pianos to fall on you because there's just so much to figure out. And I don't think we're really built to be up to the job of divine yet. It's just so hard. And so many people have trouble. And it is so hard to do. I think we got a lot of evolving to do. And that's what we're doing. We're evolving. It's like, okay, we're not, perfect isn't even like on the horizon as far as I can see. But, every work we do, and I tell people this, your work is your lineage work and your cultural work and your personal work and your children's work. And you're not really, I hate to say it, you're not really here to have a good time. It's nice and you should be rewarded and all that. But the harder the work you do, the more appreciation you get on the other side, wherever that is. So, like today, I had 2 hours of fighting with a computer. How enlightening is that? System errors, boot blocks, and it's like, oh my God, and I'm not finished with it yet. And so I just wonder, where's the lesson there? And sometimes it's really hard to figure out where the lesson is. But it's in there somewhere. Love yourself. That's where the lesson is. The more you fail, the more the message is love yourself. Next.
And I don't
Thank you
remember
very
in there though, did you share your contact info so someone can find you?
Oh, yeah, Mind Strength Balance is my website, mindstrengthbalance.com. And, all the information is there. Books and schedules and prices and services. Therapy, counseling, coaching. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Dr. Lincoln. DoveLight.
Good evening, everybody. I'm not here. Okay, now I'm here. Good evening, everybody. My name is DoveLight. I was happy to be here. I have a special. You can use the coupon 2024 to have 20% any reading, private session, one-on-one with me, or any session at DoveLightOracle.com. And remember, if you ever, because we're humans, we have a shadow and a light. So if we're ever in those moments when we feel like nobody loves us, I'm all alone, I'm going to eat worms, sniff, sniff, just remember that you are breathing. That there's a force that loves you so much that is making your lungs breathe for you. Just remember that you can see, that you can hear. Don't take anything for granted. This gratitude listed, or even saying 3 things that you're grateful for, can make a huge impact into your life. The most simple things in your life can change them. life, it's not guaranteed for anybody, no matter how psychic or gifted, how whatever you are, life is not guaranteed. It goes in the blink of an eye. Let's make the best of it. And if this life then is meant for you, for us to learn how to love ourselves, so be it. But remember, it's not a coincidence you're in this planet. It's not a coincidence you're living in this world. That's a gift of love. You are the gift of your ancestors. The ancestors pray for somebody like you to come into this planet. And just by allowing yourself to feel love and to be who you are, you're healing your past life, your inner child, you're healing ancestral healing. Everything is connected. Everything is under the guidance of love. So as long as you're choosing every day to do a little thing that makes you healthier, that makes you love you, you're already healing all that without you realizing. Okie dokie. So remember, you are loved. There is no reason, no coincidence why you will be here if you are not meant to be here. Okie dokie. Ahora sí, DoveLightOracle.com 2024, 20% off for reading. Thank you.
Thank you, DoveLight. I don't know if I fully remember the order for before, but I think reversing, maybe it was Gina and then Dr. Anna and then Crystal.
Perfect. I can just listen to DoveLight all day. Like I'm just, yeah, just all day. Okay, I'm Gina Nelson. My business is Nurture 3 Healing. My business website is nurture, N-U-R-T-U-R-E, the number 3 healing.com. And that's also in the chat. And I have some specials in there too. And yeah, so I do Reiki and energy healing and past life, and I also work again with secret keeping. So helping people find that awareness of how secrets are held in their body and how that affects their life, and being able to begin to heal now, even if you're not ready to share the secret yet, that there's a whole beautiful bridge of healing that can start before you're ready for whatever this piece is that you feel is next. And so I do that for kids and adults. And there was something that DoveLight said, oh yeah, about ancestors. Like I just picture like right now, like of all the places that we could be right now, like we're all in this room, we're all together in this space, right? That we put ourselves in, and how fortunate are we? And I think of ancestors and those who walked before, right? Just smiling at the choice, right? The choice that all of us have made to work and to put in the time for ourselves. This is an act of self-love tonight, 100%. So good spending time with you guys. Feel free to reach out anytime. Oh, and I'm in
Thanks.
Portland, Oregon. And I do
You are,
Zoom with-
okay. Yeah, I thought maybe so. That's great.
Yeah.
And Dr. Anna.
Okay, here I am, and I wanted to show you this book, which is a story with pictures. And it's a short story about healing and connection. So if you're interested, you can email me and I will send it to you. And I am so interested in everything, how we can be a better human being, not in terms of better than other people, but if we imagine that we have this small consciousness that we are aware of, and the universe, which is also us, and this is not explored. So I teach people how to explore it, how to discover more of you. So you can start bringing those pieces together, and you start growing bigger. You start feeling that you become more expanded. So, and this takes love, because if you try to deal with areas which have some anger and fear, and you try to pour more anger into it, more fear, they're going to be on defense. But if you put love into it, light into it, and you start uncovering gifts. So this is a journey, and I teach people how to do it.
And
And
maybe
I'm
just
in
go ahead.
Seattle and Kirkland. And then you can contact me. You can go to Margolina.com and contact me on this.
Great. Thank you so much, Anna, Dr. Anna, and Crystal.
So I just want to close out by saying, be your authentic self, and the right person will vibrate to you. And if not, you'll love your authentic self unapologetically. Again, I'm the multiverse frequency. If you want to hear from anybody, spirit guides, animals, past loved ones, you can reach me by email. I do energy work through Zoom. I am able to work with their inner child and see all those blocks and help, figure out earthly ways to help remove them, transmute them, help you grow, help you, become light in the dark. Reach out, check out Portland if you are in the area. The MeWe fairs are amazing. Always meeting cool people, getting cool things. I got a rock. I got a big ball. And I enjoy being here. Thank you again, Laureli. Yes, look at her. Crystal balls everywhere. But yeah, my email's in the chat box, and I look forward to hearing from you guys. I do work by donation. I take Cash App, PayPal, all those things, and but nobody will be turned away. So happy healing, and again, thank you.
Thanks so much. And I'm Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader, body psychology coach, and matchmaker. Read your eyes, read your soul. Read the eyes of other people, read the soul in other people's eyes, depending on who you want me to connect with. It might be there's someone you're in relationship with and you want to understand them better and navigate some things in the relationship. It could be that you want to find other people, and I can look at eyes of lots of people and help you find the kind of person that you're looking for. I have recommendations of who I think makes a good partner for all kinds of things, be it for friendship or roommates or romance or business or all kinds of different things. So you can find out more about me at intuitiveeyereading.com and matchmakingsoulmates.com. You can find out more about MeWe Fairs at mewefairs.com, MEWEFAIRS.com. And some of our upcoming events online are Tuesday, February 13. We have a panel on, we have renamed it, so love. It might be a path to unity. So a spiritual path. It may be how you can better be on your mission by finding a partnership with someone else. Questions about whether to stay or to leave a relationship. Sometimes it's to stay and to grow, and sometimes it's to find a different person, or you simply know you're on a journey to find this person. We have a practice circle for opening, strengthening your intuition, your gifts, coming up on Thursday, February 15. And then we have another panel February 21 on grief, loneliness, and peace. And then in-person fairs, we're going to be in Portland this weekend, February 9 to 11. It's a 3-day fair. February 17, 18, we're going to be in downtown Seattle for the first time. And then February 23 to 25, we're going to be in Olympia for the first time. So lots happening this month. I'm very busy. It's been great being here with all of you tonight, and look forward to being with you in whatever energetic way, physical way is what's going to be on our path next. So love to you, love to us all. Thank you, everyone, for doing this together.